Hey, Tanner James, DJ TJ. This is the Peak Period podcast. I am the head of DJ TJ training, and my goal is to help raise the DJ industry, help boost the DJ industry, help help reverse the negative stereotype associated with DJs. And you listening to this podcast means that you are doing that as well. You actually care about yourself, you care about the industry, you care about your business enough to take time out of your day to invest in yourself and make sure that you have a better future in the DJ industry and that the DJ industry, again, succeeds and becomes better. So today we are going to talk about the truth about growing your DJ business, because there is a lot of stuff that, I don't talk about. There's a lot of stuff, I am big into growing your DJ business. How do you grow your business? How do you book more gigs? How do you make more money? Because at the end of the day, if you can't make money as a DJ, you can't, this isn't sustainable. You can't, I love DJing. Okay. It is one of my most favorite things to do. The problem is that I have to get paid. And the reason I have to get paid is because I have expenses. And if I, take those expenses and kind of like bite the bullet on them, and I don't actually get paid for those expenses, I am not, the road is coming to an end in the future, right? You have to get paid. And even if even if this isn't your full-time job, that's totally fine, but you shouldn't be losing money. Does that make sense? You should be making money, or at least breaking even, if you love this. I know a lot of DJs say, I love DJing. It doesn't even matter about the money. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's great. The problem is that you need money to come in. So, I talk about growing your business a lot. How do you get out there? How do you market? I have cheat sheets. I have ebooks. I have, programs. How do you get out there? How do you book more gigs? The problem is that there is some stuff that I don't talk about, and they're kind of different, smaller things that, problems arise. And I wanted to talk about some of those today, because they're not big problems, but you have to be ready for them, and you have to be used to them, and you kind of shift. So if you haven't heard the other podcasts, right after this one, I want you to listen to them, because they actually give you the tips about growing your business. This is going to be, you're starting to grow your business, what is coming, because there is a lot of stuff that kind of happens that you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was going to happen, right? I didn't know that I needed to do this or whatever. So I want to go over those today and make sure that if you do happen to encounter them, that you know that they're normal, and that that they're normal, because it can be kind of tricky, especially when you're growing a business. There are a lot of unexpected things. So the first thing when you start growing your business is there will be a lot of new unexpected challenges. And maybe in your area, you'll have different challenges. But for me, I know that I had a lot of just different kinds of things that happened, and I was So I started off as a single op. I did, one event for a multi-op. I just never went down that road. And, when new DJs start out, I always suggest that they go to multi-ops, because they can learn a lot. The barrier to entry is relatively low. You don't have to spend thousands on gear. It's just a great idea to go into a multi-op, get the experience, and go from there. But I didn't do that when I was starting out. And that kind of, I want to say it benefited me, but it also hurt me in a way, because I didn't have that experience. I didn't learn from another DJ. I had to learn everything on my own. And I'm pretty street smart, and I was pretty street smart when I was starting out. So I was able to work around it, but you have to realize that I could have gone faster if I had help from others. So when I made the switch from a single op to a multi-op, there are a lot of changes that occur, and you stop necessarily always being the DJ, and you become a manager. And even if you are still DJing, you still have to manage other things. And even small things like, maybe right now you can do your whole entire setup by yourself. You're going to have an assistant. If you start doing gigs big enough, events big enough, you're going to need an assistant. And if you've ever had an assistant, you will know that they aren't always the most reliable assistants. And that can be tricky, because, you are set we're going to do this on this time at 4 o'clock. You're going to come to my house, and then we're going to go from here, and we're going to go there and there, and then after we'll be done at 10 or whatever. And you have this whole plan set, and then they bail on you. And that can be really, really tricky and hard and annoying. And it's like, dude, what? And, if they give you a couple days notice, at least you have a couple days. Sometimes you don't have that. So that is a tricky part. And I think the best thing that I can say for that is to set the ground rules and say, look, I mean, I have a sheet that I send out to all my team members that end up coming onto the team whenever I end up saying, okay, for helpers. And then DJs have a whole nother thing, but I send it out, and basically, it says you can't come high, you can't, come appropriately dressed. This is what you can wear for the event, but during setup you can wear this, and so that's kind of what was in this sheet. And I send it out because it tells them what's going on, and it says you have to be on time. And when you'll get paid that night, you'll get X, Y, and Z. Everything's on there, and it says if you must, I don't know what it says word for word, but if you can't make it, you need to notify us as soon as possible so that we can solve that and get around that, because they don't care. I mean, to them it's just a job, and to me it's a lot bigger than that. So that is something that's very very true. So making sure that you set the ground rules and making sure that you guys are all on the same page, right? Very important. And then another thing that you may think about, but you may not really actually think about, is you will be spending a lot more money when you are growing your business. And I know when I first made the big shift from a single app to a multi-app, it is like money is like flowing out of your bank account, or going onto your credit card, and it's like crazy, right? Because it's just like thing after thing after thing after thing after thing, and your insurance goes up because now you have another DJ you have to insure. You may have to buy more gear, and even if you don't, like, let's say you rent lighting, you may have to buy clamps. Or you may have to buy, and even if you're not a multi-app, even if you just start growing quickly, you're going to have to start buying a lot of stuff. And it may just be lighting. You may have to buy a few lights. It may be whatever. But I mean, I know what hit me hard was like clamps. And I don't know why clamps, like O-ring clamps for putting things onto trussing. I don't know why it hit me so hard, but like it like stunned me. Those and DMX cables, because it was like everything's all cool. And then it went like I ended up spending hundreds of dollars on tons of clamps and cables, and I was like, this is crazy. Like I did not expect this. This was not in my budget when I said I'm going to become a multi-app. So there are a lot of those expenses. So what I recommend you do is when you are actually pricing everything out and you say, okay, X, Y, and Z, I'm going to make $200 off of this. I'm going to send this guy out and I'll make an extra 200. The thing you have to be careful about is making sure that you make enough that it will offset those unexpected costs, because you will have unexpected costs. You will have costs that end up costing a lot more than you didn't even know that it was going to be a cost, and then you have to spend $100, $200, $300, $400 on this cost. I know my insurance went up a few $100 when I had to add on another DJ. Or maybe not that much. Maybe it was 100, and it like hit me, and I was like, "Whoa! I didn't know that." And then I had to add another one on. I'm like, "Oh crap!" Like it keeps adding up. And then I know with me, especially with rentals, I was renting a lot of equipment out to other people, to other DJs. It kind of hit me because I ended up double booking something, and it was my bad, but it hit me, and then I had to buy another CO2 cannon for like $200, and I'm like, shoot, like, man, this is tough. Like now I'm running into bigger problems. And so, that's part of the thing. You have to be careful, but be smart about it. And the thing is, like, if you come into a problem, just work it out. What's the biggest deal? I have to buy another CO2 cannon. Okay, whatever. I can buy another one. What you have to buy more insurance. Okay, buy more insurance. Don't quit because of something small like that. That's a small problem. So you will be spending a lot more money. Maybe you'll have to buy new speakers. Maybe you'll have to buy new equipment. Maybe you'll have to buy new speaker stands. Maybe it'll be, another subwoofer, all that kind of stuff. That is what will happen when you start growing. So be ready for it, because you will have to spend more money. And it's hard because all we want to save, but you can only save so much. You have to just bite the bullet and buy it. make sure you have processes in place, whatever it is, processes. That sounds fancy. Make sure you have them in place. Make sure you have good processes in place, because if you don't, you will have problems. So, I'm big into tracking everything. I have a big spreadsheet and I give it to you if you end up joining the pros package. And basically you can track every single thing of every single gig that you've done in this spreadsheet. And the cool thing is that it gives you so much info on this and pricing and venue and how much did they pay you? How much did they tip you? What was this? What was that? All this kind of stuff. What's a special note from that night? All is in here, which is nice because if I need to go back, I can check it out. And when you start growing, you need to check it out. I also use QuickBooks, and QuickBooks is really nice for me because I can track everything. It's Intuit QuickBooks, and I can track everything, and I can track all of my expenses. I can track all of my income coming in and going out, and it's just so easy. And I believe you can actually invoice clients as well if you want to do that, so that they can pay you via QuickBooks. I don't do that, but that is nice. You got to make sure that everything's down, and especially with taxes, when taxes come around, you want to make sure that you're prepared. So that is just huge. Make sure that you are tracking things properly, making sure that you have things together. Because again, the truth about growing your DJ business is before you could do stuff, now you can. Before you could do smaller things, now you can. Before you could, it's just small things that you don't think about. Before I could send a client an email about this on whatever time, it's not a big deal. Now it's a big deal because I don't have that time to do that. You're growing, you're trying to find people, you're trying to find DJs, you're trying to manage. You become a manager, so you have to be good at managing too. And that's the next point. You have to be a good manager. Because if you've ever worked for a bad boss, which I'm sure you have, you know how horrible it can be. And you know that you start getting resentful of that person, and you don't want to help them, and you don't want to if you become a bad boss, everything's downhill. And I think a lot of people like power. They like to be the boss. They like to be the manager. They get to manage people. And the problem with that is that it's not good. It creates a bad atmosphere, and you don't want that. You want to create a great atmosphere where you work. So the people that work for me, that are part of the team, I call them team members and a team leader. So if a team goes out, it's a team member and a team leader. I don't call them employees or bosses or managers or anything like that. I don't want that. That's not the vibe I'm giving off. You'll read some leadership books, read some managing books, because, it's the small things that make the difference. And, I go over some of it in the pros package about being a good leader, a good manager, making sure that you are setting a good example for your people, because if they see you do it, they're going to think it's fine. And even though it's not fine and you just did it once, they're going to think it's fine. You don't want that. So make sure that you are a good manager, because your business can explode in a good way or a bad way if you are a good manager. So again, we'll go over everything there. You'll have a lot of new changes, a lot of new challenges. You're going to be spending a lot more money. I highly recommend that you have some good processes in place, making sure that everything's all good, making sure that you are not having big problems arise. And you have to be a good manager, because if you're not a good manager, everything's going to go downhill. So thank you for listening to the Peak Period Podcast, episode 34. Episode 34. It's crazy. Really appreciate you listening. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is info @djtjtraining.com. You can go to DJ Training, hit me there. And social media, DJ TJ Training, everything is DJ TJ Training. And you can get a lot of tips from all the social media. If you have any questions, though, feel free to reach out, and I will be back next week.